Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and if you're seeing me at an angle right now, there's a perfectly good reason for this. I'm running a live stream at the moment. My laptop is right over here, and you're seeing me at an angle because I'm taping this on a Kodak EasyShare. The main reason for this is that I don't want you to have to sift through an entire live stream just to see my review of A Christmas Story, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here tonight. I am actually going to review the movie entitled A Christmas Story. Now, at first glance, this thing looks like a very fun movie, and I'm sure that if you're watching it for the first time and you're not thinking truly academically, that this movie is going to be great and fantastic for you. Fine. But we're going to give it an academic review, and the academic review is going to be a little different, okay? And you'll see why as I give you these questions. Now, first I'm going to ask a bunch of questions about the movie, and then afterwards I'm going to go ahead and review it. Okay, so hang in there. Now, we are never told the name of the narrator of the story. I'm assuming it's the kid that was featured in the story. Okay, and we'll get into that in just a second. Alright. The narrator mentions the street he's living on, but doesn't mention the town he's living in. We have no idea what town he's living in. Okay? The narrator never mentions the number of days before Christmas. Obviously, it's close to Christmas. That's exactly what he says. But he never says specifically how much time there is between the start of this story and Christmas. Okay, so obviously at this point, the narrator finally confirms that he is the older version of the kid that we actually see in the story. Okay? The narrator never states at the beginning of the movie where his younger self is going. You see the younger kid is running off, and but you never see where, you don't, he doesn't say, hey, this is where I'm going. Okay? And then the narrator mentions a bacchanalia. What in the heck's a bacchanalia? They never answer that question. And as the movie goes on, what building are we looking at? And why is it suddenly nighttime? That's never answered. And what was that vendor selling? Okay, this is near the beginning of the movie. It's like in the second scene. The vendor is selling something, but we never see what he's selling. I saw soldiers in this part of the film. Were they returning war heroes, or was the war still playing out? That's never mentioned. Okay, so we now know the kid's name is Ralphie. So we have the narrator, and he's an older version of Ralphie, and then we have the kid himself, and his name is Ralphie. What was Ralphie and his brother fighting about? That is never told. And why aren't the bad guys wearing cowboy outfits? This is never told to us. Okay, here's an example of classic peer pressure. Okay? And there's nothing funny about the peer pressure that was done to this kid that was getting ready to stick his tongue on a light pole. That was just, yeah, that's classic peer pressure right there. Are you kidding me? That I don't find that funny at all. Okay? And no one offered to help Flick right off the bat. Oh, maybe they did, but after a while they just kind of walked away and just left him there? Really? I mean, nobody actually went and tried to find help for him? Come on. We never see close up how the fireman got Flick's tongue off the pole. We never see that. We know it happened, but we never see how it's done. Why they just, they could have. Well, I suppose back then even hairdryers would have been a problem, but they could have put a candle up there or something to cause enough heat for that to melt it off and let his tongue loose. I don't know. Ralphie's father won a prize, but he doesn't know what it is? Really? If I'm participating in a contest, I want to know what the prize is. With some mystery prize? Come on. Now, tell me something. Really? A freight box is delivered to your house at night? When does this ever happen? I've had freight boxes delivered to me all parts of the day, but I've never had one delivered to me at night. That just never happens. Okay? And Ralphie's father is not smart enough to recognize the word fragile. Really? That's stupid. Okay. And why was Ralphie listening to Little Orphan Annie? I mean, gee. I mean, this is a growing up boy. He's getting close to being a young adult, and he's listening to Little Orphan Annie. Really? And how long did it take for Ralph or Ralphie to receive his decoder pin? That's never said. I mean, what did he have to do to get that decoder pin? They didn't exactly specify any of that either. What did Ralphie's brother do to Ralphie's glasses? That's never told. And I'm getting a picture here that Ralphie is nearsighted. I mean, how much realistically is Ralphie able to see without wearing his glasses? And why didn't Ralphie's mother inquire about his glasses? Now, let me tell you something. After a certain point in the movie, I just quit asking questions because I wasn't even interested anymore in what was going on. Honestly, I could have cared less about the lug nuts. Really. Or I suppose the only thing I could ask about the soap is, did they have more than one variety of soap in the house? Maybe another variety of soap would have tasted better than the one he had. Or they didn't really go into why that particular soap tasted so bad. They didn't really discuss it as well as they probably should have. And how about the bully being beat up? That's not funny to me. It's tragic, actually. I guess it's poetic justice, but still, at the end, it's like, that's kind of tragic. I mean, wasn't there some teacher that could intervene and cause that not to happen in the first place? I think they could have done better. And I could have really cared less about that department store Santa. Really. Well, so he has a bad day and he takes it out on all the kids? Yeah, that's a real good example of a Santa. That Santa should have been fired. Period. If you really can't handle children well, you should not be a department store Santa. That's just the way it is. What, the department store was so cheap that they got some bum off the street? Really? And the broken glasses. Let me tell you something. At this point, I really could have cared less about the broken glasses. If your glasses drop off your face, the first thing you don't want to do is start taking steps anywhere. You want to bend down and feel with your hand until you actually find the glasses. That's what you want to really crawl. I know this because I've had prior experience for myself. I've had glasses falling off of me, and I bend down and I try to feel around until I find them. You don't sit there and start taking steps forward. That's how you get glasses broken in the first place. And realistically, those dogs that flew in the house, how in the heck did they get in the house? Somebody leave the door open or something? Talk about an irresponsible father. And the whole thing about the turkey. Finally, the dogs get the turkey, even though this guy was trying to get something for himself. I could have cared less about it. It wasn't even funny. At this point, I was like, who cares? I could have cared less. It was the most stupid bunny suit I've ever seen in my life, but it was a bunny suit. That's all it actually was. It was stupid. And I could have cared less about the crosswords or the decoder ring. It just got to be more than stupid. So, in the end, I really didn't like this movie in an academic sense. It was dull, boring, it was tedious. I was sitting there going, it's dragging, just literally dragging on me. And I was like, man, I'm done with this. So anyway, no, I did not, on an academic scale, I really did not like this movie at all. It was just, there was nothing mentally stimulating about any of this. It was like, oh, there's the stupid kid wearing the bunny suit. As a kid, I would have refused to put that thing on. I said, no way in thunder. And the mother, being the way she was, if she really was the caring mother that she really needed to be, she wouldn't have asked her kid to wear that suit in the first place. She probably would have sent it back. Said, my boy is not going to wear this thing. It's embarrassing. Anyway. So no, I really did not like this movie at all. And I guess for people that aren't really trying to analyze it in an academic way, they might like it, but I found very little of it to be funny at all. I was bored almost the entire time I watched it. So anyway, those are my thoughts on A Christmas Story. If you want to answer any of the questions, you can go ahead and leave them right down here. You can leave the answers right down here in the comments below. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.